Creator who only has 15K subs. I'm actually interested. I like discovering new animators. I'm actually interested in these people. And she's black. I think. I'm assuming. In tone. Hair. I assume. Anyways. Five Nights at Fat Camp by Val. Yeah.
Of my bank account and future legal team. This story is purely fictional. Any and all
Chat.
characters, places, or objects were made up and just
Pause. Chat. This is just a reaction to this made up video. This fake story time.
used for the purpose of storytelling. Please do not sue me. So, this story takes place during the summer, right before I went to high school. My mom pulls me and my siblings into her room for a surprise. But instead of showing us, our new PS5, some express passes to Disney
Ew.
World, or, anything that children would normally enjoy, she instead showed us 4 one-way tickets to go to summer camp. And after looking at the fine print, we quickly realized that it wasn't just any ordinary summer camp, it was a fat camp. Looking back at this,
I would have been so pissed. I would have been so offended. I would have been so offended. Like, maybe it's true. If it's true, oh well. But you gonna throw me in a camp for it? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Let's not do that. Come on, like that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. And be like in the most serious way possible. That's disrespectful. I don't know how to say that.
I'm just realizing how kind my siblings are because at the time, none of my mom's kids were even remotely fat, except for me. But none of
Oh,
them even said anything, which is crazy because if the roles were reversed and I had to spend 1 month of my life in some ugly ass camp because my siblings couldn't put the food down, oh, I'd be protesting like my human rights were on the line. But regardless of the reason,
okay. This is actually animation style. I actually really like. It's memes mixed with animations. So it's not like a active animation. It's just still. I like the animation.
we all hopped on a plane, did the mandatory weigh in, and changed it to camp appropriate attire.
I'm sorry. Wait. Okay, I understand this is a real story, but no troll. See, I have been, I guess overweight for like, what am I? What? 21. I guess off and on for like 13 years, probably something like that. 14. 21. Yeah, 14 years. 8, 13 years since I was 8, I guess. Um, and shoulder shrug, but like if it was during like one of my seasons where I'm in shape, and my parents said, "Yeah, you're going to fat camp." Now I went to church camp. I went to vocational Bible school. You feel me? Me and all my cousins went to vocational Bible schools. Me, my sister, my cousin Chris, whose house we stayed at, his older sister, and then two of our cousins, Jade and Jeannie. Six was in church camp. That's fine. I can handle church camp. Church camp was fun, or what I'm saying, vocational Bible school. But you niggas got me in fat camp, and off the plane, I have to first of all I had to fly there. Church camp was in Queens at my and I was staying in my cousin's crib. I love being at my family's cribs. I, I get to be my family's cribs for the summer. What? Now don't get me wrong, super Christian cousins. So not to mention, I mean, I wasn't doing shit. This is like 2012, so I'm like 7. So I'm not doing nothing. But where being around the super Christians really tripped me. But like I'm eating sugary cereal. I'm having a great time. You feel me? I'm not tripping about nothing. If I had to fly to a camp for the summer, and off the plane they came with a weigh in. I'm gone.
We also had to give up all of our devices,
Nope.
so no phones, no iPads.
Wait, how old am I? Because before high school, I didn't care about my phone at all. I didn't care about my phone. Like, I want to say in 8th grade, my phone got stolen, and then I lost it on the bus. So like in 1 year, I lost my phone twice, and I had to pay for the replacements. So I think for like 2 months I didn't have a phone. After it got stolen, I paid for the replacement. I was like 12, 13. I didn't have no money. It was like $20, and then when I lost it on the bus, I just said, "Fuck it, I'm just not gonna have a phone." So I mean, depending on the age, I really didn't
No
care.
laptops, you couldn't use anything
But
while
now
at
I'll
the
be damned.
camp.
I'm 21.
Now, with this being my first time ever camping, I thought it would be a smart idea to check out the living arrangements. Pause real quick. I need to emphasize how I have never gone camping before, so please do not judge me. But just imagine my horror and confusion when I saw this instead of a mattress.
Okay, I've stayed on that one time, one summer, and it was for like a week. And that was during my football camp in between freshman and sophomore year. Now, I will say during that week, my health was really bad, or not really bad, but like my personal hygiene was really poor because I was in it. This is what it looked like. This is what the crib looked like, and there were spiders and everything. And it's like bougie. Like, am I from a mansion? No, I didn't have my own room until I was like 15. Like till like right before till like 2 months before I turned 16. So I've lived in basements, attics, all that. No, so you know what I'm saying. I'm not tripping. Lived on couches for like a good majority of like my formative years. But twin, this right here is probably some of the worst living you could have.
Beds are bare. No sheets, no blankets, no pillows, nothing.
You feel me?
Now, luckily, my mom hadn't left yet, mainly because my baby brother was too busy being a mama's boy and crying every single time my mom attempted to leave, so I was able to ask her to drive to go pick up some bedding from the nearby Walmart. Now, this may seem kind of irrelevant, no one is watching a fat camp vid to see the sleeping conditions, but hold on, I'm gonna get to it. Since the camp is separated by gender, my sister and I decided to go to the campfire area and find our cabin counselors and bunkmates. I'm gonna call the cabin counselors Miss B and Miss Rachel, and shout out to y'all because you were real heroes. You still have my phone number. If you want to hit me up, call me. And as for my bunkmates, we're gonna call them Meg, Lily, Cam, and Betty. So as we're saying our
Kim's a girl. Okay.
hellos, I immediately noticed that Lily has wired headphones on. And I'm kind of confused how she's using wired headphones if we all had to give our phones up before we enter the camp. So as I'm trying to ask her how she snuck those in,
She stuck that shit up her ass. Prison style.
she immediately takes my hand and leads me to the back of some random cabin and starts drilling me. You would have thought we were in The Walking Dead, the way she is
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
quizzing me right now on camp knowledge. Do you know about the food situation here? No, I just got to camp like 3 minutes ago. Okay, what about your workout cycle? Have you picked out a rotation yet? My
What?
rotation? Pause real quick. I didn't know this at the time, but apparently our camp was super popular since it got featured in an infamous MTZ show. But since I wasn't really aware of any of that, I just thought that Lily was tweaking out. But she takes a quick look at my arm and she peeps the wristband they gave me on the way in. You see how yours is red? You only get one serving of food at meal times. Anyone with a green wristband can go back for seconds. But honestly, I'd be shocked if you even want to eat past the first round.
Pause. Rewind. My wristband denotes how much food I can consume. I mean, I guess it's fat camp, so I mean, it's not like that because it's fat camp. But like, I don't know. I just don't like that. In all fairness, I probably eat less. I eat less than the average person by far nowadays. Um, but like, no, I just don't like that. I don't like that. I don't
Thoughts?
like that at all.
Okay, so I'm not trying to be rude when I say this, But as I'm hearing Lily talk, I kind of wasn't taking her too seriously. Because trust on the way in, I noticed that the camp was 99.9%. Yeah, and if you couldn't tell by my little character, I am in fact.
Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? I assumed you was my people's, but you never know. Know what I'm saying? But just from you saying they're palm colored, you know what I'm saying, palm colored folks, I know we cousins. I know we cousins.
Mm-hmm. So even though Shawty was tweaking, I was thinking she was one of those kids who would unironically sing,
I am not afraid of hell. I am from Connecticut.
but in retrospect, Shawty was really just trying to do me a favor. How, you may be wondering? I'm glad you asked. So, say if you were going to something like fishing camp, right? How many hours do you think you would dedicate to learning how to fish? I'm
Most.
thinking 3, maybe 4 hours max. You know, enough to just learn something new every day, but not enough to burn out. So that's how
Yeah.
I thought this fat camp would be. A few
No.
hours outside, doing some exercise, a break to talk about nutrition or maybe a cooking class, and then the rest of the time could be spent doing whatever it is normal people do at summer camp.
Yeah, because you can't overwork your body. No matter how much you're like doing, or no matter like, I guess if you're like a teenager, it's a little bit different because your body's kind of like growing naturally. Excuse me, hormones and all that. But like, you shouldn't be working out more than like 4 hours a day. That shouldn't be a thing, especially if it's fat camp, aka these people are mostly obese, so like they're like trying to get in shape. You're not the average, more like obese person who's like not in shape or like not chubby but they're fat can't. You know what I'm saying? They can't work out 4 hours a day. So like an in shape person can work out 4 hours a day. A chubby person like me, I can work out 4 hours, but it still wouldn't be fun. But but I digress.
But boy, I couldn't have been more wrong. Let me tell you how our actual camp schedule was. Every day, you wake up and do 2 straight hours of exercise. Then you go eat quote unquote breakfast. After that meal, you do 3 more hours of various exercises, followed by quote unquote lunch. You get no downtime and are immediately rushed into 3 more hours of exercise before quote unquote dinner. And after you eat, you go to this mandatory 1 hour long camp meeting in this random barn where half the people are either falling asleep or sneaking out to go smoke by the lake. And before I get back to the plot, let me.
Okay, once again, 8 hours. Look, look, look. Like I said, I went to football camp. All right, and this is like hell week football camp. We've been working out for a couple weeks at this point in the summertime. It's been hell week, and we went to Pennsylvania, someplace in Pennsylvania before the season started. Right? Cool. We still didn't do 8 hours a day. We still had a sense of downtime. And the food that we had was actually tasted good and we had a lot of it. Because if you're working out that much, your body's going to burn a crap ton. And being in an insane and ridiculous deficit while working out is going to kill you. Oh, I should probably listen to my own advice on that one. Anyways,
Let me give you an example of something that we would be served to fuel us for a grueling 5 hours of non-stop workouts. We'd have a selection of soup, scrambled eggs,
huh?
tea, milk, 1/2 of a gluten-free bagel, and some sugar-free jello. Mind you, it's not like we get to eat all of these options. We had to pick which one we get to eat. And you.
How are you alive? That should be a human rights violation. Bro, that can't fill you up for like a 2 hour workout. no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're doing. Let's say let's say you're doing there's no workout for like 2 hours, like, let's say it's hot yoga for 2 hours. And like, there's no 2 hours of weightlifting, you can't do that. 2 hours of cardio, you for sure can't do that. 2 hours of any activity, that can't. So 5 hours is that's a death sentence. That's a death sentence.
Can't go back for seconds unless you were at your target weight and had the little green wristband. And that's because the goal of this camp wasn't for you to learn how to healthily lose weight and keep it off, but rather to make every camper lose the most amount of weight in the shortest amount of time humanly possible by making us burn so many yet consume so little calories that our bodies would be forced to drop weight in the few weeks we spend there. But middle school me did not know any of this at the time, so I just decided to cut her off from her
Middle school's
Katniss
insane.
Everdeen head-eye explanation because, to be honest, I was tired and didn't want to hear all that yap. Yo, so I saw you have an iPod. How'd you manage to get that in here? We're allowed to have electronics. As long as they don't have screens or Wi-Fi, I just use this to play music. Oh really? What do you have downloaded? Any rap in there? Any nigga whole Hamilton playlist? And for many of you,
Now, I will not say that that Hamilton has bad music, but I'm not listening to fucking him. Okay? I'm not listening to Hamilton. I'm not listening to Hamilton. If you want to go old timey kind of music, can we listen to some goddamn Marvin Gaye? Some Sam Cooke? Temptations. If you want to get real old with it, we can go Temptations. Boys to Men, not Wayne Morris, though he's a kid toucher. But
I know this would have been a deal breaker, but for me being the black nerd that I was geeked. So I took one of her earbuds, put it in my ear, and we just sat there listening to music. And this moment, this was the true calm before the storm. Just me and Lily chilling and listening to My Shot. And at the time, I thought, you know what? Camp really
that
could
was my
not be
ex
that
making me watch that
awful.
movie.
Cause come on, how bad could this possibly be?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You literally cannot survive off that.
Second day in this place. Tell me why my big sis Chantel is literally having a deadly allergic reaction. Because despite telling all of the camp staff that she's allergic to dairy, they decided to serve her tomato soup with milk in it. So as I'm watching this, my big sister literally dying, my other younger brother, Philly, he comes over to check out the situation. And I see that his hair looks like he's been shot by lightning. Boy, what happened to you? Oh yeah, the people in my bunk said my hair looked like sheep's wool, so they started picking at it like a petting zoo.
Why did your mother let you go there? I don't. I'm not gonna lie. We would have just done. Like, what's wrong with your moms? Like, I went to high school. High school. Well, for like a year and 2/3. Freshman year and then sophomore year got interrupted by quarantine. It's like what the last 3 months of school. I'll be damned. Don't get me wrong. My hair texture then and now is two different things. So I guess my hair texture now people probably would have wanted to touch because my hair is soft as shit. My hair is soft and fluffy. But if these cotton colonizers, if these palm-colored patriots try to touch my scalp, they would have. Yeah, no.
In the span of 24 hours, my sister nearly died and my brother's fresh cut was washed. But on the brighter side, the days following were actually really good. At least for me personally. I can't speak for them. I was enjoying my time there. The exercises were pretty fun, and all the other campers were super supportive. So, yeah, I didn't really know what all of that was about, but I genuinely didn't really want to know because me personally, I like to mind my own. But outside of that
Real,
little awkward moment, my
real.
sister nearly
That's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's real. If it's not my business, I don't need to know about it.
dying, and my brother's cut literally getting completely ruined, my first week of camp was going pretty well. On like the 5th day, I had gotten in good with Lily and Betty, and we were talking at dinner time. Dude, we have to skip the meeting tonight. What? Why? Because every other Friday, the camp owner comes down and gives a super obnoxious speech that always leaks into free time. Pause real quick, I forgot to mention. Free time is like an hour after the evening meetings. So, right after we leave the barn, we get like 1 hour of freedom where we can kind of do whatever. If we don't skip, we'll have to sit for the whole 2 hours. And when I tell
No.
you, these meetings were already so
Oh.
mind-numbingly boring, with just the counselors leading it. I couldn't imagine if the owner of the camp were to go for double the airtime with zero break. So I agreed to ditch
And
with
niggas
them, and
actually fuck with the counselors. So Matt, nah, son.
instead we go
Nah,
down by
son.
the
Nah,
lake,
son.
just gossiping and playing games for the first hour. But as time is passing, my consciousness starts to kick in. Nigga, if you don't get back in that barn, you know you have an African mom. Both of these girls have
Your African mom sent you to fat camp? Your African mom sent you to fat camp? In my mind, I thought an African mom was most likely to send you to back to Africa than send you to fat camp. That's a first. No, I've never heard something like that before. You got me beat, twin. My Caribbean mom was never sending me to fat camp. Occasional Bible school, for sure. But fat camp, no.
white moms. Get back there. And for anyone out there with a Nigerian mom, you know that she is not to be messed with.
And she's Nigerian? What? I'm confused. You're
So
not
out of
wrong.
a sworn sense of duty and pride, and mostly a fear of authority, I tell my girls I'm gonna go back for the evening meeting. And as I'm getting close to the back of the barn, I can still hear the insidious yap fest inside ensue. So I try to get close to the front doors and just pretend that I had been lost or sick the entire time, and that I wasn't really just trying to skip. So there I am, sneaking my way to the back of the barn, when all of a sudden, I hear the craziest sounds coming from around the corner. And despite my better judgment that typically tells me to mind my own, and I don't support him, don't free R. Kelly, please, but I just gotta do something real quick. Close to the corner, I'm approaching the corner.
I love my people. I love my people, bro. I love my people, bro.
Peek around the corner. Now I'm turning the corner. No, pause the story, because what I'm about to tell y'all is so damn twisted. Not only was Miss Rachel skipping her and her girl, they was kissing, 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 kissing. Wow, I cannot sing to save my life.
What?
I cannot wait to hear that back.
It's such.
But yeah, this is my first video.
Oh, actually?
I'm so sorry for both your eyes and ears, because
Oh, yeah,
the quality of this is
W vid. First vid. I know, I'm not gonna lie. You know you're tough. You know you're tough if your first story is 188K. What? My mic's not muted. My mic is not muted. My mic is not muted. My mic is not muted. I can see the levels going up and down. I can see the levels going up and down, twin. Like I was saying? What was I saying? Yeah. Your first video being 188K, that's tough. That's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm
for the sake of my bank
videos.
account and
Actually, oh,
a video since January, I think, probably earlier than that. And I just realized at a certain point that perfection is the true enemy of
Oh
progress.
shit.
So I'd rather put out something that's kind of straight cheeks than wait any further and delay
That's
what could
real.
have been. Um, but yeah, if you want a part two, which I probably will make regardless, but if you do want one, please leave a like, subscribe, leave comments.
21K
Please give me any
on your first vid. Second comment. I've spoken to J about. I want to give her credit for the disclaimer I used in the video. That's my bad. I thought if you were talking about cooperation, corporation, you had to do that to avoid real legal action. I also want to credit Cole for the wand stylist idea because I definitely took inspiration for that. I have no problem giving other animators their flowers, and I don't want to seem like I'm ripping them off for other people or stealing anyone's stuff. So please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. Preferably on TikTok. I won't have Insta for a while. I mean, eh. Healthy weight loss does definitely take time, but you can't go from 7. In all fairness, I was at 7,000. I dropped mine like 1,500. You know, my maintenance is like 4,000. So the fact that my you so you and I know that